Now, I genuinely hate to be a downer, but things like today's discussion are unfortunately unavoidable because it's honestly really important that you hear it. Black Ops Cold War, for the time being, is not safe to play, and this comes in the wake of increased risks to older COD games in lieu of older clients, like X Labs and what may be Plutonium Next being shut down despite the protections and securities they offer to older applications. But the crazier part about all of this is that we're not talking about an old game here that's over a decade old and hasn't gotten a single update in 5+ years. We're talking about Cold War, a game that was the primary not even 2 years ago still. So today we're jumping into what you need to know about the situation and the unfortunate reality that we have as COD players at this moment with these types of situations. As we go along, drop your thoughts down below. If you enjoy the video, you find it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And finally, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to stay there with all things COD and more FPS content in the future. I'd love to have you. But for now, let's jump into it. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is no longer safe at the moment. Per a report from Charlie Intel, there is currently an exploit in Black Ops Cold War on all platforms where a person can gain access to a player's IP, crash their game, or potentially cause other issues. No indication so far of it happening in Modern Warfare 2 or Warzone 2. Activision has not addressed this, nor have they stated they're aware of this problem. Would be best to avoid Black Ops Cold War until fixed. So that's a pretty big problem right there, right up front. I mean, just front facing without having to dive too far into it, none of that has a positive spin. The ability to crash your games, I saw a video of JMoney26 showing exactly what happened to him and a friend who had this happen to them, where that's just incredibly annoying. If they can DDoS you or hit you offline, that takes me all the way back to the Black Ops 2 League play days where somebody would just rage quit or completely knock you offline entirely if you were like in, say, Masters matches. I remember that happening so much, dude. I'm so happy that it's not really a regular thing anymore. Obviously, it's still possible with this new exploit that we're seeing in Cold War, but beyond that, obtaining your IP address, obviously that too is a huge concern for cybersecurity reasons. I mean, a VPN can help you in that case, but we should not have to resort to that just for wanting to play a game that isn't even 3 years old at this point. And the biggest problem is that right now it's stated that it's on all platforms, not just PC. We've seen exploits happen on PC in the past before, and never is it a good thing to hear about, but it's way more accessible, way easier to do with PC as opposed to on consoles as well. That's why you hear more about this stuff on PC versus then on Xbox or PlayStation. So to have every single player potentially at risk, that's massive. Now, the further question is, are other COD games of recent years an issue? That was something that Charlie Intel chimed in, saying that at least Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2, there seems to be no reports here of this. I've heard beyond that with like Vanguard and Modern Warfare 2019, people saying yes, but also I've heard other people saying no. Apparently, it could be something that's engine specific. So when you consider that Modern Warfare 2019, Vanguard, and Modern Warfare 2, as well as Warzone 2, are all built up on the same engine foundations, and Cold War is that only deviation in the last few years, that gives some solace that you should hopefully be okay, and also kind of would make sense as to why one is affected and the others are not. But fingers crossed that's actually the case here. So when I look at this whole thing from a top down, it's almost laughable if it wasn't so dangerous that this is happening with a modern COD game, because we unfortunately have come to almost expect games like Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2, and those classics that have been modded for years on years on years. Those classics and gameplay experience can be air quote ruined. Some people liked playing around with the infected mods in Modern Warfare 2 and beyond in those games, but even to a security level of protecting players, you still shouldn't be seeing a lot of that stuff happen. And having it happen on Black Ops Cold War, a game that isn't one of these older ones that has not seen an update in regards to any sort of capacity in 5+ years, having Black Ops Cold War fit that same mold is not good by any means. Again, like I almost want to say, like, it's almost funny that we're not seeing any upkeep here with this and it's like on brand with Activision, but that's genuinely a security risk for some players here. So that's no laughing matter. But I think the biggest problem with all of this lies in a, I guess, lack of a communication about all of it. One thing that I can think back of recently in regards to communication through the official channels of Call of Duty and with the community was that we saw with Season 3's launch, it took like 2 to 3 weeks to get any sort of acknowledgement of server issues, and that's just a gameplay thing here. If you guys remember, Season 3's launch was plagued with terrible servers, rubber banding like crazy in Warzone matches, DMZ, multiplayer even to a degree, and that was something that it was like, when are they going to acknowledge this? When are they going to fix it? And it went on way longer than we anticipated. I mean, again, 2 to 3 weeks after that problem playing daily, you're going to be frustrated, and rightfully so. So if we have to wait that kind of long for a genuine security issue, that is a massive problem. That's game over, man. And I think what's especially frustrating about all of it right now, thinking about a larger issue of security, is the official COD account is still every single day tweeting about bundles, not about something that's potentially harming its own player base. And I get that maybe it's like a matter of like along the lines of like the Streisand effect, where you don't want to inadvertently make the problem worse by bringing more attention to it, so you just bide your time. But for this kind of thing, I don't think that that's a valid play. I do not think that that's what you should be doing. You should address and be like, hey, we are working on a fix here with this, and then get that thing out as fast as possible. And I guess further compounding on the irony of all of this is that the clients that Activision are continually going after to shut down, like X Labs, what could have been SM2, and what may be Plutonium up next, they all offer protection for older games. And while not Cold War, it's just kind of ironic that they're actively eroding the safety nets built out for players by players, and the genuine safety nets that publishers and devs have made are failing to catch these exploits. So it's just, again, just terribly ironic. You almost want to say funny, but it's not. And I don't know, man, maybe I'm just biased. I think that communication is one of the most powerful tools here that we have, and I feel like it's just always neglected and never used properly from the Call of Duty standpoint. There are so many different bombs that could be defused before they ever even start the timer going off if Call of Duty would just communicate. But that doesn't seem to be their strong point. Hopefully that turns around at some point, but I mean, especially with this, man, just talk to us. End of the day, I guess, though, stay safe. It's the only thing that you can really do if you really want to not put yourself in any harm's way. Avoid Cold War especially. Again, I don't know just yet if any of these other games are actively being exploited. I think it might actually come down to an engine thing, in which case Modern Warfare 2019, Vanguard, Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, those all should be good. But honestly, I'm just a dude from the outside looking in, trying to make sense of it like you guys probably are as well. So it's unfortunately a really bad situation right now in regards to game security and what we have on offer. So that said, that's where I'm going to leave you with it. I just wanted to fill you guys in and make sure you guys were well aware of this. I know I'm a little bit late to the party here at this, busy couple of days here, and the content schedule didn't exactly match up one-to-one to get this out immediately, but it is something that you definitely need to know. So stay on top of it, avoid Cold War if you can or have to, and keep your game and potentially information safe. So that said, let me know your thoughts down below. Are you guys disappointed that we see this happening here with a game so recent as Cold War? Are you disappointed in general with it? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, though, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to stay updated with all things Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, anything COD related, and other FPS content here on the channel. But for now, thanks so much for watching. Modest Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.